Thanks so much for that introduction, Jamie. And one thing you can tell younger people, Mike got up here and spoke with his phone. Those older you get his paper. So, and also the older you get, as Melissa Rose said, you have to go to Dollar General, CVS, and get reading eyeglasses. And I'm really good friends with Brad Lane, a big supporter of Concord. He's a co-owner of Revelation Eye Care. And said, if I had an eye doctor worth a nickel, I wouldn't need to get reading glasses. But that's neither here nor there. But again, thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, Jamie. It meant so much. First of all, I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee for the selection. I'm so honored. It's the highest professional honor I can imagine. I know Melissa and T. Lee and Mike Boyd talked about being part of it. Truthfully, this made me feel shake. I never really thought much about the Hall of Fame until Tessa started talking about it towards the end of my career. And I thought, well, maybe one of these days. And maybe they felt sorry for me because I'm 60 and, diabetic and high blood pressure and everything else. But I am so honored to be a part. Also, I'd like to congratulate the other inductees today. And again, it's a very great honor. When I was at Columbus, started coaching women, Steve Harrell, Melissa Gross was playing Concord. Tim Lee played football here, remember that. Grayson Tram, Kerry Simon, now all the people who are in the Hall of Fame today. It was, seeing them play. And I know there's a lot of future Hall of Famers sitting out there right now. And one thing I will agree with Kevin talks about when people come back, what good shape they're in. I think I'm in pretty good daggone shape right now. But again, and the last thing for the introduction of the Hall of Fame members, if Randy Jennings, a Hall of Fame member, ever tells you anything about a Hall of Fame Blazer, don't believe a word he says. He had poor old Tom Lusk last year tore up about a Hall of Fame Blazer, so please don't tell him that. But, as I was trying to think of my remarks, and I know I'm on the clock, and I've told people that all the Hall of Fame ceremonies I've been at, the older you get, the more you speak. So, you might want to sit back and get a cup of coffee. No, I'll be quick. But to be included in part of the Concord University athletic royalty, it's just, there's no words to express it. People like Tony Collarbro, the chief. Don Christie. Don may not be the smartest person, but he had more common sense than a million people. Plus, he started winning tournaments. And then the next person, Steve Cox. Steve Cox won a bunch of tournaments. Anybody knows Steve Cox and myself? You put he and I in a room together, come across someone we've never met, with 8 minutes, we can find out if they got a tie to Salem, Glenville, or Concord. Because we can tell stories with anybody. And my bride's first year as a coach, I drove my car up because my daughter had a Christmas performance at Pikeview. And so Kent rode back with me, Steve rode back, and went back in the middle. And we got back, Kent said, just throw Gene Davidson on that car, and we could have a heck of a time coming back with the stories every holler between here and Buchanan. So, Steve, in that group right there. Will Johnson, and Randy's not here, so I'm going to send Randy to counseling. But Will Johnson had a team when he's back in 1979 and carried him to the tournament championship, the first one Concord ever won. Randy would disagree, but Will did. Kevin Garrett, Kevin taking a baseball program but understood was not very good. They played at regionals, won tournaments, and I'll talk more about him a little bit. Here's an athletic record. Mike Cox. Mike Cox is a great friend. I used to want to kill him about once a week when I was doing scholarship because he knew his spreadsheet. But again, what he's done with the track cross country programs here. Georgia Kelly. Georgia Kelly is the matriarch of women's sports at Concord. She coached everything. And the last person, he's not here this morning. If he's not the best football player on the defensive side of the ball in Concord history, he's one of the best. And he gave the best Hall of Fame acceptance speech ever as Tracy Bradley. So for me to be included with those people, not only those people, but everybody in the Hall of Fame, it's so humble and honored, I can't imagine. And one day after I was over by myself, and there's 119 people going into this year's class. I coached 6 women, and I'm also going to help take care of Sterling Tate because I was assistant for 2 years, so that's 7. I worked with 10, and coached against 11. Of course, Steve Cox is on remote. Coached against to work with, but you know, the thing is, for someone not going to school here, have an association with so many people in the Hall of Fame. Plus, throughout time, you know, meeting great people each year at the Hall of Fame who's in. And I remember playing here when I was growing up, going to school in Glenville or wherever, working in Glenville. You know, get to know those people. And again, to be associated with that group is just, you know, a great honor. First, now I'd like to introduce some people here with me. First of all, over here I got son Michael, his girlfriend, I guess, Heather Snow, son John Abracius, his wife Kelly, my son-in-law Tanner Hamilton. I'll come back to that here in a second. Next table back, my mother-in-law Doris Lawrence, Brooke Wills, brother-in-law Billy Lawrence, sister-in-law Liz Lawrence. You know, it's kind of unique. You know, some people know my background and history. I have three of my sister-in-laws from my first marriage. Fran Kirk, Mary Britt, Jerry Phillips is Gina's husband, Gina Phillips, and they had the dubious honor to be G. Davis's daughters. So, and you know, Kelly's sisters. So again, you know, telling Steve Cox earlier in the week, we had a meeting at Pipestem on the golf course about they coming down, and you know, he thought that was just terrific. Also at the back table, Steve Harrell, he and I grew up together. And I don't know where Cleveland got this idea about me saying four-letter words. And I'll blame that on Steve Harrell about that, but I'm going to save the other 3 or 4 back here for later. Also, again, not here today because Vanillis is Tim Ward. You know, every time we played up around Glenville, Wesleyan, Fairmont, he's always at the game. I remember the first year they opened the Waco Center, and we won there. And it was about 4 minutes to go, 3 minutes, official come over and says, Kenny, you got 2 timeouts left. Him and his idiot son, Luke, sat behind our bench, and about every 30 seconds they said, Kenny, you got 2 timeouts left, you got 2 timeouts left. And I want to turn around and tell him to shut that, you know, up, but I did, and we won, so I guess it's good there. You know, Gene Karen Davis, I'm not here if it's not for Gene Karen Davis. You know, when Kelly passed away, I figured, well, you know, I'll sell the house. I talked to Steve about adjunct in Glenville, and WVU had a PhD program where you took 6 hours every Tuesday. So I thought, I'll just move back to Glenville, go to WVU, take 6 hours, and do my doctorate, and work the rest of my life as a college faculty member, because a lot of them don't work. But you know, Gene Karen volunteered to move down. Gene jumped in and helped. And what also people don't realize about Gene, he won the first regional championship for Concord as a golf coach. He knew about as much about golf as Carl Tesla did. When she asked me if you missed the ball, does it count as a stroke? But Gene was smart enough to go get good players, feed them, and get out of the way. Did not try to coach. Danny Lawrence, you know, Vicky's dad, he became an unofficial scorekeeper, statistician. He'd come in and say, you got to watch 32 and 20 tonight. So one night I said, hell, Danny, don't tell me, tell them down there warming up. And but he was always, you know, one of their biggest supporters. My parents knew Janet Osborne. You know, Janet was around for a while. You know, she sat there and yelled at referees. That's probably where I learned how to cuss too. You know, one thing I learned from my dad, he always went to college on Saturdays to work. Probably 45, 46 Saturdays a year. I didn't understand when I was little. Shit, I got to go to college, run around. On home football Saturdays, I'd see the team going to eat. I thought that was great. The band had a band room in the hall practicing, hearing the fight song. But he got more work done on Saturday morning than he did probably 8 to 4, 5 days a week. And you know, I used to come over a lot on the weekends and work at night so I could get stuff done. And then my late wife, Kelly. You know, she was a supporter. She didn't care if we won or lost. She read a book. I remember one time at Glenville we lost and I was mad. She goes, 20 million Chinese men didn't know Glenville play tonight. That made me real mad. But in hindsight, she's right. Last 2 people here real quick. My wife Vicki. We started dating. I didn't think much about it, but I don't know how she felt about someone carrying a bunch of college women's numbers in her cell phone. Calling high school girls, you know, trying to offer them money. But, you know, she was accepted here by our family and athletic department, which I'll talk about in a second. You know, she's had to put up with the loss. She's had to be the highs of the wins and lows of the losses. You know, watching Phil Myers that night. And, you know, I know Carolyn Cox, Robin Garrett, Megan May. You know, everybody's a coach's spouse understands the ups and downs you go through with that. And I love you very much. Last one, Kristen. You know, I don't know how much stuff I missed her growing up, but when she was a senior at Pikeview, they had a performance, and we lost to Fairmont that day. So Jamie already tells you how I felt about Fairmont. But I'm thinking, damn, she's a senior. And I remember coming back and telling Jay Plusman, I said, I hope she comes to school here because I'll never miss her performance. Either you run practice or we'll change practice so I can get there. So Kristen, you know, I love you and I'm sorry for all the things I missed. And Kristen, you know, he says it takes a village. The people I mentioned is the village to help raise you and me. So, just a couple other things. You know, our athletic department at Concord, what a great place to work. And I know I'm helping West Virginia Tech now, but it's still we and us here at Concord. And, you know, we kind of do our own thing over there. Right, wrong, or indifferent. You know, whether it's loading a van up going to a funeral, we're supposed to funerals is me, my family, or whether it's a New Year's Eve party, a 4th of July party, Mike, just a it's Friday in the summer, let's do some burgers and dogs on the grill. You know, again, working with Kevin Garrett, he took over Don Christie's philosophy as a family and brought that back. You know, we had an AD that did a lot of damage. Steve Lee helped bring it back. Quick did a pretty good job, and then Kevin picked up where Don left off. And I never had the opportunity to work for Don, but it's a family thing. You know, we've taken meals in when had illness, taking collections up when people are sick or that type of thing. You know, whether it was working with Kevin, Mikey, Steve Cox, Steve Barrett, who's a Tech fan, and he's from England. And if you might know Steve Barrett, he's about 4'1". I could be in my office not doing nothing. I make him knock before he comes in anyhow. You know, we brought in Luke. You know, the situation there, great people to work with. And one thing about Concord Athletic Department, Steve Cox will tell you, Kent and Todd, both basketballs get along. Kevin says at AD's meetings, the ADs will talk about the basketball coaches hate each other. You know, for example, I remember one night we were playing Charleston. That was the night that Sam Nestor buckled Corny Thomas, and Walker hit me upside the head with her wet jersey because we gave him double overtime. Before our game, Sherry Wynn told Steve, boy, I hope you beat Greg White. I hope you beat him like a drum. He's a jerk. So we went in overtime. I'm down in the corner where I usually stand, drinking a Diet Coke and eating some popcorn. Here comes Greg White in the middle of the men's game. Great win. Glad you beat him. He was never like that here. Never like that at all. You know, whether we bust together, you know, we play 5:30 or 2, me and Steve comes rolling in about 10 minutes before tip-off. And I will say, Todd gets there a lot earlier than McBride and Kent did, but, you know, they're always there. We threw it up. We would stay for the games on Saturdays, and that's not a lot of places. So to work somewhere for 25 years with great people, you know, I can't put a price tag on it. And the last thing I want to mention, the former players. We got some here today. Of course, y'all met Jamie Plusman, Sherry Walker, Ryan Overstreet. I'm using maiden names. Ashley Brown, Madison Knight. And I'll go ahead and set that my neck on the line. In a couple years, she'll be up here. Last night we had about 15, 16 show up playing the alumni game. And Kent's right. Some of them have not been in very good shape. But it was fun to see all those people. But, you know, I was so fortunate for 22 years. Whether it was an egg toss battle, and they all come after me with eggs. Squirt gun fights. Pie in the face. Christmas party. Just to get together. Coming back from Wesley my last year, they taught me to play some game with the alphabet. With food. Apple, banana, carrot. But when it comes back to you, got to repeat everybody. And Fitzwater's riding shotgun. And she goes, come on, old man, you can do it. You know, all the van rides, the bus rides. You can't put a price tag on that. The relationship, the memories. The, trip to Florida, where Overstreet had to sit out because she got a technical. Florida a couple times. Georgia, and this last group we took to Hawaii. And we beat Hawaii Pacific. We were the first Concord team to win outside the continental United States. And with those memories, and to all my players that's here, former players, I love y'all. That's what it's all about. The relationships you make, not only players, but staff members. I'll shut up now, but I am truly honored to be a member of the class of 2023 at Concord University Hall of Fame. Thank you.